Do you ever think about someone? They're always on your mind. You go to bed, they're the last person you think about before you fall asleep, and then you wake up, and then the first person you think about. Now, obviously, you like this person, and you have some sort of feelings or attachment or infatuation towards them, you know? You know this person doesn't like you. They've kind of made it clear, but not in a very direct way. So you try to move on. You force yourself to move on, but it's not as easy as everyone says it is. You know, you can't just flip a switch and just like turn off how you feel. You know, you try and get this person who's essentially living rent free in your mind out your head. And the more you try, the more it resists, and that person just you can't stop thinking about them. You know, if you do something fun, you think that like, oh, it would be more fun if that person was with you and you did it together, whatnot. You know what I mean? Like you try your very best to move on, but it's hard. Sometimes you feel like, oh, maybe if you had the closure, like, maybe if just like they made it clear, and it would be a lot easier, and you could like just get them out your head. But it really isn't that simple. Sorry, I have to stop recording, or like make cuts, because there's like a construction site over there, and there's like a truck or multiple trucks that keep on passing by. And obviously the train too, so that's why there's going to be a whole bunch of cuts in this video. But yeah, sorry about that. You think that like, oh, maybe if you just do other stuff and you try to distract yourself, like you would eventually stop thinking about them or feeling that way about that person. But then it's like the more you try, the more it resists, and that voice in your head just keeps on getting louder and louder. And well, I guess that happened to me, because like then it gets to the point where like you don't really know what to do. Like sometimes you just wish like, oh, I just wish this person just straight up told me, rejected me, blocked me, whatever. And honestly, I don't have the courage to like block them or just like unfollow them or like get rid of them completely. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I won't let myself do that. And I know that's part of the problem, but it's not as easy as everyone says it is. Like one of my friend, he had this like example that he gave me. It's like, oh, you had your old Samsung phone and then you got your new iPhone, and then if you had to pick between the phones, like which one would you pick? Obviously the newer phone. But then that's different. You can't really, those two things aren't the same. Like that's a phone. Obviously you're gonna pick that because it's newer and faster, whatever. It's just two very different things. You can't really use that comparison in that scenario, because this is something you can't just turn off. Like maybe some people can, and well, I guess I'm not one of those people. I recently came across like an Instagram reel that said, what if you can't stop thinking about this person or feeling a certain way about them? It has nothing to do with them. What if it's you, as in like me? And at the end of the day, that kind of makes sense, because we don't look at people entirely for who they are. We look at them through a lens, and especially when you like someone, you really look at that person with rose tinted glasses on. You can't really see the negatives about them, and you you can only see the good and the nice things and the things that you want to see. And I knew this, but I felt like I just like overlooked it, and it really took me a long time to realize, longer than I would have liked. But now I feel like I understand, And it's never too late to like realize stuff, but I feel like I just wish I knew these sort of things like before, because we really look at people, whether it's like our friends or like other members of family or even people we like, based on the experiences we've had with them. And wow, this wind is really messing up my hair. It's already pretty messed up. I need to get a haircut. But yeah, we look at people, and especially people we like, based off the experiences we've had with them. And it's because we do that, sometimes without even realizing, we tend to project parts of ourselves onto them. Especially when like there's romantic feelings involved. We really tend to look at these people with rose-tinted glasses. And then when we do that, we end up romanticizing them in our head. And as someone who's a big overthinker, I overthink too much, like everything. Like there is nothing that I don't overthink. Everything that I do, everything that I want to do, everything that I say, everything that I want to say, I just overthink it. Like even like while sending a DM or something, I think of different responses, everything. I think about what they would say based off what I am going to send them. And then, like, it's just, yeah, I overthink everything. And sometimes it's good, and most times I don't think it's a very good thing. Because, you're not really living in the moment in a way, because you're just like thinking of every possible scenario. And then before that thing has even happened, you have like an entire freaking movie in your head about how it's going to play out. And then because you've romanticized that, when that thing plays out and it's not is what you expect based off what you've thought in your head, it depends. Sometimes it's not good, and sometimes it's good. Well, most times it's not very good. We tend to think up things in a more positive light, and then they don't always end up that way in reality. There's been times where I admired her so much to a point where like I felt drawn to her in a way that I can't even explain. I know it sounds stupid, but I only now realize that I was always looking for something in her that I was missing in myself. I was looking for something, I was craving something that I myself didn't have, and I was expecting that from her. I was projecting what I was lacking onto her and thinking that maybe if we ended up together, my life would be better. I know it sounds silly, but like, there's been a time where like I thought like, oh, maybe if she loved me, I would be able to love myself. And that's, clearly I guess I don't love myself. And it's something that I've been working on, and I've gotten a lot better at it. I've been working on myself, physically as well as mentally. And I'm making progress, and now I can see that progress. It's no longer about the motivation, it's just like I'm driven to reach that goal that I've set for myself. And I know that whole thing where like, oh, maybe if she loves me, I'll be able to love myself. That's like some sad loser shit, Like I can't lie, I can't even deny that. But then it's just on these are the kind of things that your mind fixates on because you think that they can give you that something that you are missing. It took me a while, but one day I just like sat down and just like thought about it. What does she mean to me? Or like, why do I feel this way about her? What is it about her that's making me drawn to her? Why does she cause me to feel such emotions, Because like chasing her and going after her is not gonna get me the answer that I'm looking for. You know, like this is something that I can only like find the answer to from within. And at the end of the day, why do I feel this way, you know? And I know you guys are gonna be watching and thinking like, yeah, this guy is just like stupid, dumb, you know? But like that's just how it was for me, and I don't really know what to tell you. I didn't really understand like why I felt this way, because like up until this point, 25 years old, I never really had someone that I really felt this way about, you know? Like I never really liked someone like this. Like yeah, sure, when I was younger, like in primary or whatever, you know, I had like a crush for like 2 months or whatever. And then like after that, you know, that's 15, 16, I had like a crush for like a couple months. But that just like kind of just dissipated, you know, like it didn't really last long. This is the first time in my life I actually felt this way romantically about another person. And I myself didn't really understand this feeling, or like why I felt this way, or what I was feeling, you know? Maybe it was just like my mind reflecting myself onto her, and like indirectly telling me what I needed and wanted to know, but I just didn't really understand it up until now. Honestly, I don't even know if anything that I said up until this point made any sense, you know? I'm just like rambling at this point. Yeah. But I'll say one thing though, like me feeling this way about her made me want to improve and become a better person. Like it was because I felt that way. I like strived to like improve myself and like really work on myself and, you know, be better. Because like in my head I was like, oh, maybe if I, you know, work on myself, try hard, be better, do better, I would actually maybe have a chance. And like now thinking back, you know, it's not been that long. It's like I've only like really started to fully understand this just like very recently. But I can't deny the fact that all of these things like actually helped me improve and become better. I'm not saying that I'm like some sort of like good, like, you know, I'm there yet, you know, clearly like I'm not there yet. I've set myself some goals and I'm working towards them. But now that I actually know that it's me and not about her, it feels different. I can't lie, honestly, thinking about it now, it's actually really funny. Like the whole like, oh yes, if I worked on myself, maybe I would have a chance. Well, I guess sometimes when we have like an attachment to someone, it's not really about them, but it's like us wanting something that we never had within, you know, because we end up looking at that other person as the solution to like all these problems we have, when in reality that's not the case. It's just that like all these attachments and feelings, they have like a hold over you, and they kind of really just take over your mind. And it's worse when you've never really experienced like this sort of thing before, you know? Like I've never been in like an actual romantic relationship, so like it's like I feel like I really took it too far. I can't lie, it wasn't exactly a very healthy place to be, because like I craved her attention. I allowed myself to be disrespected. It was like she had this like hold over me. Like she had me on a leash, basically. Like she was living in my head rent free. It was like the simplest things, like seeing a notification pop on my phone with her name on it, like made me happy, you know? And I'm not gonna deny it. I really liked the attention that I got from her. even though it was like barely anything. It gave me hope that there was something, like there was like, I felt like I had something to hold on to, like there was hope for something that could happen, even though that was not the case. And there was never something there to begin with. The only way you can heal and get away from all of this and get it out your head is by accepting it and becoming a whole version of yourself. And it's not something that you can just do easily by trying to forget and just force your way out of it, because the more you try, the harder you try, the more it forces itself onto you. Like the key, I suppose, was understanding the hold and the power it had over me. The only way you can move on and get this out of your head is by understanding and accepting the hold and power it had over you, and by like taking it into your own hands. And it's not something that you can do by trying to replace that person with someone else either, because that's something that I did, and I feel like a shitty person for doing it. I ended up involving myself with someone else, and I feel really bad for doing that to her when I never really had any feelings or felt that way about her, because every time I was with her, I just kept on thinking about the person that I actually had this affection for. And honestly, it just makes me feel like a dick now, because like, this freaking train, man, it doesn't exactly make me feel very good about myself, because maybe this other person liked me, I don't know, but it just made me feel like shit, because like, how could I do that to someone else? Like, yeah. But yeah, going back to the actual point, I know this video is like all over the place, but I'm just kind of like unloading my mind and like just saying whatever, This is like a video diary journal thing, so like it's just kind of what's on my mind. I'm just saying it to the camera, but you can't move on by forcing it, and you can't move on by replacing and involving another person. The only way is to understand what you are looking to get from them. Like, what is it that you are looking for? Because at the end of the day, it's most likely something that you've never had and something that you've always wanted. Because you never had that, you push that onto someone else and you think you can have it. And when you look at it this way, it kind of makes you realize that it was never that person that you were seeking. It was never that person that you wanted. It was just like what your mind told you can get from them is what pushed you and made you want them so bad. So the only way you can move on is to take back this power that you've given to this other person. At the end of the day, you kind of have to like take back that key from them and open that lock, because only you can become who you want to become, and you can only do it yourself, and it's not something that you can find in another person. Now, I may be wrong, but like, this is just the conclusion that I've come to. Like, obviously everyone thinks of things differently and everyone has their own way of doing things, but I don't know, I just really felt like I really wanted to say this. And the whole point of this channel is to like document all of this, because like then I can look back and really see the person I was and the person I become in the future, and I can look back and see like how I was thinking. And I know it's kind of weird to put it on YouTube, but like, this is like a diary for me, and as someone who likes documenting, I've said that multiple times in my last video, I don't know, this is like a place where I can share my experience and I can kind of show my journey. That point in time, that point in time when you stop seeing them as that one person that can make you whole, and realizing that power has always been within your own hands, When you fully realize that, that's when the sort of like things, these images, these like not memories, but like these fantasies that you've created within your head start to fade, and you can feel yourself moving on. You know, when you finally start seeing that the person that you were looking for the entire time was not her, and it was you all along, all these thoughts, all these emotions, all these feelings, it was never about her. It was me. And it's not easy because like right now you're convinced that she was the one, you know? like she was the one, be all and end all. Like you really liked her, you really wanted her. That connection, that spark, that desire to be seen and known by them, like all of that came from you. Like, you know, all of that came from me. I was the one who had it in my head. Nothing came from her. You know, and when you start like moving on, and it does make you feel sad, it like does break your heart, because even though it was never from her, your mind visualized it, and especially when you overthink so much like I do, it made it feel real, and it does hurt. And even though it came from me and not her, she was the one who in a way unlocked it and made me realize my capacity to have feelings for someone. So like even when you feel sad, you feel heartbroken, and you feel like you're never gonna feel this way about anyone else, you're never gonna like have this sort of feeling for someone else ever again, you have to remember that it is a reflection of how deeply you are able to feel this way about someone else. And maybe someday you can hope, feel, and imagine all of these things and share real experiences with someone who truly feels that way about you. You know, someone real, something real, and not just this one-sided thing that you envisioned. Because at the end of the day, even though this experience was one-sided, it does like it did leave a mark, and it makes you feel scared that you might not find something like this ever again. But you have to keep in mind that someday you will feel this way, and that time it will actually be mutual, and there will actually be a connection, and it won't just be this one-sided thing. So I feel like you just have, so like when it does feel like, oh, you're never gonna feel this way again, you do have to remind yourself that this is not the end, and all it did was show you your capacity and how much you were able to feel for other people. You know, sometimes I just feel like I wish I never met her, you know? Like, I just wish I never ran into her. Like, I just should have just, like, I saw her, I should have just, like, kept on walking past, never interacted with. Even though she will never know this, I feel like I've made so many changes in my life, and I've worked on myself so much because of her. And I would like to thank her for that, because even though it was not entirely her, it was me. It was that image and the hope that I had in my mind, someday maybe having a chance of her, that really helped me improve and strive to become a better version of myself. I don't know, maybe I would have turned out differently if I never ran into her. I can't lie, this video is probably gonna be pretty long, and honestly it's a bit random. I know all my videos I'm probably gonna say the same thing, like it's random, this and that. But yeah, I just had to get this off my mind and off my chest, and I felt like, let me just make a video about it. And I honestly, I feel great after recording this, you know. I'm gonna go home, edit it, post it, and you know, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. I really appreciate that. You know, you took the time and watched the thing. Obviously, not all my videos are gonna be like sad and shit like this, you know. I'm just kind of posting whatever I want to, because I don't want this channel to be about a certain specific one thing. You know, it's just going to be about whatever I'm doing. I want to look at this channel as a book, a journal of my life, and it's whatever I experience and whatever experiences I have and create. I want to document them and post them on here. I have been making more advances and learning new things. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. And again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. And yeah, it's really fascinating how the human mind works. And the more research I've been doing into it, the more I've been enjoying that subject. And I feel like this is like the first step I've taken to like really get this out my head. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked the video and if you could relate to it in some sort of way. Drop a comment down below letting me know what you think and what you would like to see based off what you know about this channel so far. And I will catch you guys in the next video.